Hello everyone! And today, as promised by Elite Cameraman a few days ago, we've got some more exclusive leaks for the upcoming 70th episode, and oh my god, it better be out soon already, because I can hardly wait anymore. You're about to get some deep inside information about these leaks from me that wasn't covered in the Elite's video. So watch this video to the end not to miss any cool details that are hard to observe. Also, there's a special topic I'll touch in the today's video, but it will be done a little bit later. Now get your snacks and tea ready and prepare to have a really good time. Let's go. Before I'll start analyzing the leaks that got into our view, there's one interesting thing that Elite Cameraman mentioned I'd like to talk about. He said that the main reason for didnt to send him those leaks exclusively was the fact that the publishing of the leaks in his official Discord channel for everyone to see is usually a sign of the episode coming really soon, or how that's what the followers would interpret those leaks like at the very least. Honestly, this thing got me a bit upset because it may be another indication of how the episode 70 was probably getting delayed once again. There is still a chance, of course, for it getting released tomorrow on the 14th of January. But considering what Elite Cameraman has said and the absence of any new information both in didnt's special store or in his Discord channels, I highly doubt that this episode will come out as initially planned. But in any case, I'm still happy to analyze at least some hints about what could have possibly happened next in it. So let's move to the leaks now. But first, be sure to hit the like button under this video if you like what I'm doing. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel not to miss my new analysis of episode 70 when it'll get finally released. And the first leak we'll get our hands to is this picture with the full shot of the angered Titan TV man face, which sparks some curiosity in me for sure. What could have driven him so mad? Apparently there is some sort of enemy that he is looking at off-screen, because there is no other explanation here. Also, based on the background behind his figure, it seems obvious to me that he is standing outside. And if you remember from my previous video covering the first two leaks released by didnt for Elite Cameraman exclusively, the first ever leak in there also contained the image of the upgraded SWAT Skibidi toilet standing outside near the bunker's entrance. Could it be so that Titan TV Man is facing this right, and that was the moment captured on the leak? Personally, I wouldn't find it to make a lot of sense, based on the several factors. Firstly, the background of the old leak and the new one doesn't seem similar to me. In the newer leak with the angered Titan TV man's face, the color of the skies seems to be darker and deeper. Plus, I don't see any mountains or rigs nearby that were presented in the leak with the SWAT Skibidi. Thus, although the map may be the same as we saw in episode 67, the locations themselves must be different for Titan TV man and the Skibidi, who's probably getting ready to guard one of the entrances to the Skibidi base. In turn, Titan TV Man must be located near another entrance to the bunker, and my guess is that he's almost 100% certainly not alone, but with two of his brothers, Titan Cameraman and Titan Speakerman. Now, do you remember what happened in the second part of episode 69? As Titan TV Man recharged the core of Titan Cameraman and ignored the same request from Titan Speakerman, which must have been on purpose, all three of them knew, they flew away from the main reinforcements of the Alliance that were getting ready to storm the bunker's entrance. And as I have already said in one of my oldest videos, that could mean only one thing. The trio of Titans are planning to infiltrate the main Skibidi base from the alternative entrance that was probably used by the gigantic version of Skibidi Scientist Puppet and all G-Man's clones, including G-Man himself, if assuming that the G-Man who fled the battle when Titan TV Man appeared was the original one. So, my only guess about what made our Chad Titan so angry is that something could have went not according to the trio's initial plan, and now they are facing some unexpected trouble in the form of something or someone. I also think that we may see separate battles happening at the same time, but at the different locations. I assume that it may be possible how the Alliance's reinforcements will be to face the SWAT Skibidi toilet from the first leak, guarding the entrance to the base that we saw in the end of the second part of episode 69. While the Titans trio will be reliving another battle on the approach to the alternative entrance to the base meant to be used by larger forces of the Skibidi army. Now let's move on to the second leak that was revealed by Elite Cameraman today. And if yesterday we saw the image of some badass cameraman holding the flamethrower spitting the powerful blue fire, then in today's video case, we were gifted an image of Big Cameraman holding the weapon that is identical to the one we saw in the end of the second part of episode 69. Do you remember that big guy holding a minigun which, as I assumed, was supposed to spit the hail of plasma bullets? Besides the fact that I am sure that this is the same big cameraman, it also occurs pretty clear to me that this weapon is definitely that exact minigun we saw earlier. And I have a few exciting assumptions about what role in the plot of the upcoming episode this guy may play, but I'll tell you about it a little later. But for now, let me say one thing. The original image of this big boy was rather dull, so I increased the level of brightness. And here's what kinds of details I managed to find. This guy looks almost the same to the frame where he appeared in the end of the 69th episode. His posture and the direction of his line of sight are identical, as well as his equipment and even clothing. If the coat's model of the cameraman in the center from the previous leak was definitely modernized into the leather jacket, that the outer garment of this guy looks pretty much the same. Still, I'd like to point out how drastically the quality of Defook's models must have been increased. It seems to me that this man works pretty hard nowadays, and I have a lot of respect to him for that. Big cameraman shown on the leak has the same protective earphones covering his main camera as we already saw in the 69th episode. And besides that, here's one important detail I caught, and I want to share my theory on it with you. Now listen carefully, it will be interesting. You can notice how Big Cameraman with the minigun has the large round camera lens in the center of the square frame he has as a form of his face. Now let's get back imaginarily to the emotional ending of the second part of episode 68. Do you remember the big cameraman Chad with the rocket launcher that was badly hit by Skibidi Kleiner? And how before passing away he gave the protective lens of his to POV Plungerman? At the time, we all guessed about the possible purpose of him doing that. And now, I think I'm ready to give you my theory about it while seeing today's leak. What if Big Cameraman with the minigun will play a really significant role in the future part of the upcoming episode? Or maybe he will be POV of the 70th episode. In that case, he will definitely need some additional help while infiltrating the base. And I assume that this guy will be in the head of the Alliance's reinforcement squad, which goal would be to reach the survivors of the elite squad and help them. So I assume that Big Cameraman shown on this leak will be able to reach Plungerman, who will give the protective lens of his perished friend to this guy. And it will be important for the plot of the 70th episode. At least for the first part of it. And yeah, by the way, I'm pretty much sure that the 70th episode will be divided into several parts due to the importance and the epicness of it we're about to witness very soon. Besides that, I noticed the same type of scratches on his right lower arm that were also present on his body when he firstly appeared in the 69th episode. Also, he has some sort of screws visible on his forearm. It's quite difficult for me to explain the origin of it, so probably we will see some more details about these scratches when the episode gets released. But there is something that changed in his appearance in comparison with the 69th episode, though. Take a closer look at his minigun. This time, it's not glowing red as it was before. It seems like some sort of light that was active inside of the gun before went out. So now we're seeing his weapon in some sort of reloading phase or something like that. Or maybe Big Cameraman in this frame got out of plasma or laser bullets that were actually giving this reddish color to the gun. And now he's about to switch to some other type of ammo. Or maybe Defook made some small changes to the way this weapon actually works. And if it's the case, then it will be a bit of a problem for me to figure out the reason for it. If you guys have any ideas about it, write them in the comments below, because you know that I'm always really interested in reading your feedback. And the last thing I'd like to mention about this leak is the background that is visible behind Big Cameraman's back. Here, I could have said how the form and placement of this archway reminds me of the door the cameraman from the previous leak was standing at, and that the two guys may be standing from the opposite sides of the same doorway. But I believe this is not the case here. I think these two doors are completely different, and they are placed in the different locations of the same bunker. Because if we will look at the door from the previous leak once again, we will see the horizontal type of stripes on it, while in this newer leak the stripes go vertical. I hope my thought is rather clear to you guys here. And that was all for today. Now, all I'm waiting for is the actual release of the 70th episode by Defook, because I plan a really cool video for you guys after the analysis of this episode. You know that I've managed to make quite a lot of predictions about what might be happening in the upcoming episode, and I'd be quite excited to see whether my theories came true or not. So yeah, I'm planning to do the second part of the video where I analyze my predictions that came true. So be sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss it. And by the way, if you are craving for some new content while waiting for the next episode, check out my new videos on my additional channels. ISO Chad, where I spoke on the whole strike situation that happened to Dom Studio channel, and Teliotosi, where I've just made a collaboration video with Moby. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!